Another thing is that let's say you want to recuperate health or your stamina or your magic. You could use potions, but you could also use food. Now, depending on the food that you eat, is how you look also. So, let's say you want to recuperate health. You could either buy a carrot or you could buy, let's say, a steak. If you buy the carrot, you're gonna look pretty healthy. You're gonna look, slim, fit. But if you keep buying steaks and eating steaks and drinking beer, because yes, you can drink beer, you will get fat and you will look unhealthy and like ugly, and people will react to that. So if you want to look healthy and fit, you have to eat veggies and fruits. So it adds that other side to it that I've never really seen in other video games, which is something that I just love about the game because you have so much control over this character. Out of RPGs that I've played, this game is one of the most true to its genre. Like, it is an RPG because it gives the player so much control as to who your character is. I mean, you don't get to choose your dialogue and all that, and actually your characters in Fable 1 and Fable 2 don't talk, except for when they're doing these little mannerisms, like they'll go, ah. They don't start talking until Fable 3. In Fable 3, your character does talk. And another thing that Fable has, that makes it, Fable, it makes it Fable, is that you could do different types of mannerisms, like in front of crowds, or you could do it with a person to either make them scared or to like you. You could like do this chicken dance, you could burp in their face, blow a kiss, you could be really nice or you could be vulgar, and that will get a certain amount of points, whether they're good points or they're bad points with the villager. You do make friends in Fable through this system. You try to get them to like you. You gain points depending on what you do to that person. They could become your friend or they could hate you. You could even marry people. In Fable 2, you could have kids. Depending on how many, you could actually have, you could divorce your spouse and then marry someone else and have kids with them. So there's more to this game than a lot of people actually know about. I think the biggest message that this game gives is that things are not as they seem. So the way that this game looks, it almost, since it has that fairy tale-ish sort of look to it, and it feels kind of cartoony. I think some people might see it as like a kiddie game, but it's not. It's not at all. It's not. I mean, kids could play it, whatever. Kids play freaking Gears of War and all this stuff. Fable has these underlying elements that are pretty, that you would never guess. So some of these elements that I was talking about that are just like, what? Did I just see that in a video game that looks like Zelda? You could have sex. You could actually choose to have unprotected sex or protected. You could actually be with prostitutes. You could kill innocent people. So when it comes to Fable 1, some things that were kind of annoying were that I didn't actually buy Fable, like the actual game, when it came out. I didn't play it until a few years later after it had come out. And I downloaded it off of Xbox Live, so I don't actually have the CD. So I downloaded it, and it was very buggy. Now I don't know if it was because it was a download, or if it was just because it was an older game. But some things were really annoying. Like, I would all of a sudden have, like, I would have these tattoos that I had chosen to have, and then all of a sudden those tattoos were gone, and I'd have like an imprint of the map on my body. And I was like, is that the map? It was weird. Like, I was like, what? But whatever, it was just stupid little glitches like that. In Fable 2, there were little glitches, but nothing like that. I think the one thing that bothers me the most about all the Fables is the villagers. The villagers, there's only like maybe 5. In Fable 1, there was only like 4 templates of villagers. And by what I mean by that is that everybody in Fable, except for the main characters, like the characters that actually go with the storyline, but all the civilians that, people that you bump into, they all are a template. Like, you bump in, like, your wife, let's say your wife, it's this later, it could either be a lady that looks like she has, like, that has a little bonnet, or it could be another lady that doesn't have a bonnet or something like that. And that's how they all look. That's all the ladies look. And you're just like, you're looking for your wife, and they all look the same. The only way that you could tell that it's your wife is that she has like this little, like a little wedding ring over her head, and that's how you know that that's your wife. But everybody else looks the same, and it's just like, why couldn't they have more variety of characters? Like, they look different. In Fable 2, there was a little more, still like 7 templates of people, but like, let's say all the blacksmiths looked the same in whatever town you went. So you went to this one town and the blacksmith looked a certain way, and then you go to another town and it's the same damn blacksmith but with a different name. So they all follow a template, and that's kind of, I hated that. I hate that. But whatever, it doesn't really, it doesn't affect the story. It's kind of annoying to see the same person over and over, especially when you can marry people. They look all the same. I wish they were kind of, unique, but whatever. There are a lot of differences between Fable 1 and Fable 2. In Fable 2, you could actually have a job and earn money. You could be a blacksmith, and you do this, like, the way they do it is, it's like a little game, almost, like a little mini game. Very simple. You could do that, or I believe you could also work in the bar. Little jobs like that. Which was cool. You were able to make money a little bit easier in Fable 2. I really liked the storyline in Fable 2. I loved the story. I liked it more than Fable 1, I think. Fable 1 was cool, but I don't really remember it. It didn't really stand out to me. I mean, it was a good story, yeah, but Fable 2's storyline, it just stuck a little more with me. Because I enjoyed it more, and I thought it was a good storyline. And there were a lot of really good missions in Fable 2. In my opinion, Fable 2 has the best beginning out of the 3. Another difference between Fable 1 and Fable 2 is what I said, that you can have kids in Fable 2. And I enjoyed the combat system more in Fable 2, just because you had the option of using guns. I focused a lot on agility in Fable 2. In Fable 1, I focused a lot on magic. But in Fable 2, I focused a lot on using guns, which is tied to the agility skill, and some magic. So yeah, I think that's mostly what I wanted to say about Fable. I didn't go too much into the storyline, just because if you haven't played it, I really want you to experience, because it is a great game to experience, especially when it comes to the story. If you are a RPG fan and you haven't played Fable, please try it. It's such a great game. It really gives you a different side to RPGs that I know a lot of you have played already. Fable 1 is pretty outdated. I would say go ahead and play Fable 1. If you want to have the full experience of Fable, I would say play all 3, because the storyline, even though they don't they don't directly continue the same story. They're different characters in each game. There are a lot of aspects that were in previous games that show up in the sequels. So like things that they talk about in Fable 1 do show up in Fable 2. They're more, I guess you could call them more like little, like those moments where you're like, oh, where only people that played Fable 1 would recognize, and people that didn't play Fable 1 would just be like, okay, like they wouldn't really get the full meaning of what that was. So it's not like you have to play Fable 1 and to play Fable 2 and all that, because it is a new character. At least give Fable 2 a try. If you don't want to play Fable 1 because it's outdated, That's understandable. It's a great game still, and you know, if you do want to go back to it, I would say play it. But if you don't want to play it, at least play Fable 2. So that's my review for today. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys later.